Over 1 in 10 engine breakdowns are caused by motor oil that should have been banned years ago. Today, we're revealing the most dangerous engine oils that are still being sold today. And wait until you see the so-called high mileage formula that's secretly damaging newer engines. We'll also clear up 5 popular oil myths that even experienced drivers still fall for. And don't miss the final bonus tip. It's about certified oils and a $3,000 mistake your mechanic won't warn you about. Let's get started. 1. Non-detergent oil, the dinosaur oil that refuses to die. Non-detergent oil is a fossil from another era, a time when cars didn't have oil filters, engines were simple, and nobody worried about sludge buildup. Back in the 1950s, this stuff was standard, and for good reason. Engines then didn't demand much from oil, but the world has changed. Modern engines have tight tolerances, turbochargers, variable valve timing, and emission systems that rely on clean, well-formulated oil to survive. Pouring non-detergent oil into a 2025 engine is like fueling a jet plane with cooking oil. It simply can't handle the job. Here's the ugly truth. Non-detergent oil contains 0 cleaning agents. Modern oils are loaded with detergents to keep sludge, carbon, and varnish from sticking to engine parts. Without those detergents, gunk clings to metal surfaces, clogs oil passages, and slowly chokes your engine. A basic sludge cleaning can set you back $500 to $1,200. If the mess destroys bearings or blocks oil flow, you're looking at $3,500 for a small car engine rebuild and well over $7,000 for bigger or luxury engines. Unless you're restoring a 1940s tractor or maintaining a classic car for shows, this oil belongs in history books, not your daily driver. 2. Wrong viscosity level. When oil flows, like honey or water. Viscosity is just a fancy word for how thick or thin the oil is, and getting it wrong can destroy your engine from the inside. Imagine 2 extremes, too thick, and the oil moves like syrup in the dead of winter. It flows slowly, struggling to reach tight engine parts. Especially during cold starts when 80% of engine wear happens. Those first few seconds after ignition, when thick oil can't move quickly enough, are when metal grinds against metal, wearing out critical parts before the day has even begun. Now, flip it around. Oil that's too thin can't handle the heat and pressure of a running engine. It breaks down fast, loses its protective film, and leaves components like bearings, pistons, and cams vulnerable to friction and scoring. Repairs for that kind of damage don't come cheap. Think $1,500 or more just to get things running smoothly again. Take 20W50 oil, for example. Perfectly fine for certain older engines, but pour it into a modern turbocharged Ford EcoBoost, Mazda Skyactiv, or Hyundai GTI, and you're asking for trouble. These engines have tiny oil passages, spinning components moving at insane speeds, and variable valve timing systems that need quick lubrication. The wrong viscosity causes rough idling, sluggish acceleration, overheating, and eventually major failures like clogged oil passages or spun bearings. The fix? Stop guessing. Your car's manual tells you exactly which viscosity works best. Use it every time. 3. API SJ and older ratings. Outdated oils that kill modern cars. Here's a shocker for many drivers. Just because an oil sits on a store shelf doesn't mean it's good for your car. Some bottles carry old API ratings like SJ, a standard perfectly fine before 2001, but dangerously outdated for modern engines. Engines have changed dramatically in the past 2 decades. They run hotter, produce more power from smaller displacements, and rely heavily on emission systems like catalytic converters. Old oil formulas lack the detergents, anti-wear agents, and sludge control additives needed to protect these advanced engines. Use them, and you'll see faster wear, carbon buildup, and worst of all, potential damage to your catalytic converter, a repair that can cost up to $3,000. The rule is simple. If your car was made after 2010, use oils labeled API SN or newer. For vehicles between 2001 and 2010, API SM is safe. Anything older belongs in antique engines, not modern daily drivers. 4. High mileage oil in low mileage engines. Too much of a good thing. High mileage oil sounds like a great idea, right? Extra additives to fight leaks, slow down aging, and keep older engines running longer. And it does all that, but only when used correctly. This oil is designed for cars with 75,000 miles or more, where seals start to dry out and tiny leaks can form. The problem comes when people pour it into newer cars with healthy engines. High mileage oil contains seal conditioners that swell and soften seals to stop leaks. If your engine isn't old enough to need it, those additives can actually damage healthy seals, leading to oil leaks where none existed before. Softened seals plus extra sludge buildup equals disaster. We're talking $1,000 for seal replacement and, in extreme cases, up to $8,000 for engine cleaning if sludge clogs oil passages. The golden rule: don't use high mileage oil until your car actually qualifies as high mileage. 5. Recycled or re-refined oil. Without certification, the hidden risk. Recycling motor oil is great for the planet. Every year, hundreds of millions of gallons of used oil are collected, cleaned, and turned into usable products again. But here's the danger. Not all recycled oils are created equal. Certified recycled oils, those with API or ACEA seals, go through strict testing and quality checks. Uncertified recycled oils often skip steps, leaving behind impurities or lacking critical additives. Tiny contaminants in poorly processed oil act like sandpaper inside your engine, grinding away at bearings and cylinder walls. These oils also tend to break down faster under heat, losing the viscosity and protective strength your engine relies on. The result? Overheating, wear, and potentially catastrophic engine failure that can cost $3,500 or more to fix. The solution is simple. Always look for certification seals before you buy. If the bottle doesn't proudly display one, leave it on the shelf. 6. Diesel oil and gasoline engines. Overkill. That backfires. Diesel oil has a reputation for being tough. It contains more detergents and higher levels of zinc additives than typical gasoline engine oils, leading some drivers to believe it offers superior protection. But modern gasoline engines are not designed for it. Diesel oil burns differently and can clog catalytic converters, poison emission systems, and leave behind residues that gasoline engines simply can't handle. Some vehicles are compatible with specific diesel oils, but unless your owner's manual clearly says so, using them is like feeding steak to a cat. Wrong food, wrong system, wrong results. The damage? Replacing emission components or catalytic converters can run into the thousands. Unless your car explicitly allows it, keep diesel oil out of your gas engine. 7. Unbranded or generic oils. The mystery liquid gamble. Finally, we come to unbranded no-name oils, the bargain bottles stacked on discount store shelves with labels you've never heard of. They tempt you with low prices, but inside the bottle could be anything. Big brands like Mobil 1, Castrol, and Valvoline spend millions on research, testing, and certifications to guarantee quality and consistency. Generic oils often skip all that. They might lack proper detergents, break down under heat, or fail to protect against wear. In the worst cases, you're pouring mystery liquid into a machine worth thousands of dollars. Saving $10 today could cost you $7,000 tomorrow if your engine fails. The takeaway is simple. If the oil doesn't have a name you recognize or the right certification seals, don't touch it. Now let's expose the 5 biggest oil myths drivers still believe. Myths that drain wallets, wreck engines, and refuse to die. Myth 1. Engine oil additives always help. Walk into any auto parts store, and you'll see shelves full of engine oil additives promising miracles. Bottles claiming to restore compression, eliminate friction, or boost horsepower practically jump off the shelf. The labels make them sound like magic potions. Pour one in, and your tired old engine roars back to life. The reality? Modern engine oils already come loaded with a finely balanced mix of additives carefully engineered by professionals. These include detergents to keep things clean, anti-wear agents to protect metal surfaces, and stabilizers to prevent breakdown at high temperatures. Oil companies spend millions developing the perfect recipe for performance, protection, and longevity. Dumping extra additives into your engine is like adding hot sauce to an already perfectly seasoned meal. At best, it does nothing. At worst, it ruins the balance. Some aftermarket treatments actually thicken the oil too much or break down its protective film, making it less effective. Others create chemical reactions that form sludge or foam, the very things you're trying to avoid. That's why every major automaker warns against using random additives. If extra chemicals were truly beneficial, the oil companies would already include them in the formula. You wouldn't need a $10 bottle from the bargain shelf to make your oil better. So, the next time you're tempted by a miracle additive, save your money. The best thing you can do for your engine isn't buying gimmicks. It's changing the oil on time, using the correct specification your car actually needs. Myth 2. Only the manufacturer's oil will do. Here's a myth automakers love because it sells more of their own branded oil at inflated prices. The idea that you must use the manufacturer's oil or your car will somehow explode, seize up, or void the warranty. But here's the truth. Car companies don't make oil. They simply rebrand it. That fancy bottle with your car brand's logo on it? Most of the time, it's the same oil sold under big names like Castrol, Shell, or Mobil 1, just in different packaging at a higher price. What actually matters isn't the logo on the bottle. It's whether the oil meets the required standards and certifications set by organizations like API, ACEA, or SAE. Your car's manual lists the viscosity, like 5W30, and the certification, like API-SN or SP, your engine needs. Any oil meeting those specs is perfectly safe to use, whether it has your car maker's logo or not. This myth persists because people assume official branding equals superior quality. It doesn't. As long as the oil meets the correct viscosity and certifications, your engine doesn't care what name is on the label. So, don't fall for the overpriced dealership upsell. You can buy oil from reputable brands at your local store or online for much less and get the same protection your car was designed for. Myth 3. Milky or foamy. Oil isn't always bad. This one can destroy engines if ignored. Some drivers believe the color or texture of oil doesn't really matter as long as the car seems to run fine. They see milky or foamy oil and assume it's harmless. Nothing could be further from the truth. Milky or foamy oil usually means contamination, and that's bad news. Often, it's coolant leaking into the oil system, which can happen if you have a blown head gasket, cracked engine block, or leaky oil cooler. When coolant mixes with oil, it creates a thick, milky sludge that loses its ability to lubricate. Metal parts rub directly against each other, overheating and wearing out faster. Foamy oil can also mean air bubbles are trapped inside, reducing the oil's ability to form a protective layer on engine parts. And here's the kicker. By the time you notice symptoms like white smoke or rising engine temperature, serious damage might already be happening. Repairs for a cracked engine block or damaged head gasket can run into thousands of dollars, sometimes over 10 grand for modern vehicles. The lesson here is simple. Check your oil regularly. If it looks milky, foamy, or unusual in any way, stop driving and get it inspected immediately. Hoping it will just go away is like ignoring chest pain because you don't want a doctor's bill. It only gets worse. Myth 4. Synthetic oil causes leaks in older engines. For years, drivers believed synthetic oil was dangerous for older engines because switching to it seemed to cause leaks. People assumed synthetic oil was too thin, too slippery, or chemically aggressive, eating away at gaskets and seals. The reality is far less dramatic. Synthetic oil doesn't cause leaks, it simply reveals them. Older engines often have worn or hardened seals that conventional oil sludge may have been plugging temporarily. When you switch to synthetic, its superior cleaning properties wash away the gunk, uncovering leaks that were already there. In other words, the leak existed all along. Synthetic oil just made it visible. And that's actually a good thing. Why? Because ignoring a leak doesn't make it go away. Catching it early means you can fix the problem before it leads to low oil levels, overheating, or major engine damage. Modern synthetic oils are fully compatible with older engines as long as you use the correct viscosity and specifications. In fact, synthetic oil offers better high-temperature stability, superior lubrication, and cleaner operation compared to conventional oil. Switching to synthetic is almost always an upgrade, not a risk. Myth 5. You can't switch oil types. Many drivers believe once you start with one type of oil, conventional, synthetic, or a blend, you're locked in for life. Switching, they fear, will somehow confuse or damage the engine. That's nonsense. Modern engines and oils are designed to be completely compatible. You can switch between conventional, synthetic blends and full synthetic oils as long as the product meets the specifications listed in your owner's manual. Yes, synthetic oil has advantages. It handles extreme temperatures better, resists breakdown longer, and keeps engines cleaner. That's why many manufacturers now recommend synthetic oil from the factory. But using conventional oil in an engine designed for it is perfectly safe too. The only caveat: don't downgrade if your car specifically requires synthetic oil. Some high-performance or turbocharged engines need the extra protection synthetic provides, but otherwise, switching oil types won't hurt your engine in any way. So, if you want to upgrade to synthetic for better protection, go ahead. If you need to use conventional for a while because it's cheaper, that's fine too. Your engine isn't loyal to oil brands or types. It just wants clean, properly rated oil at the right intervals. The rescue plan for engine damage. When the wrong oil circulates through your engine, it rarely causes instant failure. Damage builds quietly, layer by layer, until one day the engine light pops on, or a strange knocking sound creeps in. The key is spotting the red flags early before minor wear turns into a wallet-crushing repair bill. The first warning sign: increased engine noise. A healthy engine runs smoothly with a soft, even hum. But if your oil isn't protecting as it should, metal parts begin rubbing together. Suddenly, that gentle hum sounds like a sewing machine on steroids. Ignore it, and you could be looking at bearing wear or even piston damage. Next comes rough idling or sluggish acceleration. You're at a red light, the car vibrates like a cheap massage chair, or you hit the gas and feel hesitation instead of power. That can happen when oil loses its viscosity or leaves behind sludge, clogging tiny oil passages your engine depends on. Another red flag is burning through gas faster than usual. When oil breaks down, friction increases, forcing the engine to work harder. More work means more fuel, and that dip in miles per gallon is your car crying for help. And finally, the dreaded check engine light. Many drivers panic when it comes on, but often it's your engine's way of saying, "I'm not being protected like I should." Don't ignore it. Have a professional check oil pressure, viscosity, and contamination levels before damage spreads. If you catch these signs early, a simple oil change with the correct grade and certification can often reverse minor wear, quiet things down, and keep your engine healthy for years to come. How to choose the right oil for your car. Preventing these problems starts with using the right oil from day one. Luckily, it's easier than most people think. Step 1. Check the oil cap. Most cars print the recommended viscosity, like 5W30 or 0W20, right on top. That number isn't a suggestion. It's what your engine was designed for. Step 2. Read the owner's manual. It lists the correct oil type, viscosity, and even how much oil your engine needs. Following it eliminates all guesswork. Step 3. Look for certifications. Bottles with API, ACEA, or manufacturer approvals have passed strict quality tests. If it doesn't have those seals, don't risk it. Step 4. Ask an expert. Auto parts stores, mechanics, and online repair guides can confirm the right oil in seconds if you're unsure. Choosing the right oil isn't about brands or marketing claims. It's about matching your engine's exact needs. Do that, and you'll avoid sludge, wear, and $1,000 repair bills, keeping your car running like new. That's it, folks. Now you know the oils to avoid, the myths to ignore, and the right way to protect your engine. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and share it with other drivers who care about their cars. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-world car tips that save you money and headaches.